So believe it or not, there's actually a fair bit of cut content within the video game of Guild Wars 2. From the concept of being able to adventure into Zhaitan's corpse, to not being allowed to have the drip and facial hair of Bram. Here are 10 different things that ArenaNet has cut from players within Guild Wars 2. Many players were disappointed when the Zhaitan fight ended after just attacking the dragon with a cannon. After the undead dragon fell, that was not going to be the last time we saw him. According to an old Gamescom trailer, we can see a dragon's corpse lying on the ground. This matches up with some of the points of interest titled The Elder Dragon's Lair and Zhaitan's Arrest. Within the game's files during one of the beta weekend events in 2012, players were able to find a familiar render of a dragon. According to an interview with some ArenaNet developers, they mentioned that Zhaitan's corpse would be visible in Ara. Now, being able to see this in-game would be awesome, but think about it. Imagine going inside Zhaitan's corpse and being able to fight with Zhaitan's soul or something like that. I think a lot of Ara players would be quite happy to see this kind of content in-game. It might be shocking to hear that ArenaNet actually took out a PvP map within the game after they learned that players strongly disliked underwater combat. There was a whole PvP map called Raid on the Capricorn, which featured the pirate ship, the Capricorn, in the center of the map. And if you've read the Guild Wars book called Sea of Sorrows, you'll definitely know the importance of this pirate ship. You know, I actually made a whole other video of all the other Guild Wars books. Feel free to check it out once this video is over. Players would not only be able to fight underwater while also having to dodge sharks, but they would also be able to utilize the Capricorn's cannons by carrying cannonballs to the cannon and firing directly at their foes. The following capture points were located on the map: the beach, the docks, and the ruins. ArenaNet took this map out of the game and has now been replaced by the new map called Revenge on the Capricorn, which has the Capricorn ship fire its cannons at the city of Lion's Arch. I'm pretty sure PvP players would be quite happy to see this map return in the game because, well, let's be honest, there's been very little PvP content added to the game, so maybe adding this map into the unranked queue would be quite nice to see. There are a fair bit of armor skins in the game files that aren't usable for players. Some outfits are worn by NPCs, such as the Scholar's outfit, and though light armor profession classes sadly get to miss out on this professor's attire, other players are disheartened to hear that the school uniform isn't available for their in-game avatars to wear. Don't be too sad though. You can still rock the Queensdale Academy outfit, but many players feel the older style doesn't quite suit their taste. Now, we all know why some of these players want this older version back in the game. The UI for Guild Wars 2 has changed drastically since the alpha and beta versions were playable back in the day. Many players realized that the dodge meter was once located above our utility skills before ArenaNet changed the placement of it, where it sits happily above our health bar. But did you know that even the friends list has changed over time? It was going to display players' medals, a picture of their avatar, and you could even add small notes for each specific person that you added. I think this feature, specifically the note feature, would be really cool to see in the game again, so that way, when I log back in within 2 months from now, I can look at my friends list and be like, oh, who's this person again? Oh yeah, that's right. I kicked this guy's ass in PvP. Now I remember him. One thing I do wish we had back again is the circle map. I think being able to toggle this version on for our map would be a nice change of pace. Now, back in the day, you could collect information about different enemies you found within the game. This is where you'd be able to tell where you found the enemy, read about the lore about this specific enemy, and you'd be able to learn about their strengths and weaknesses. Sadly, there's very few footage of this specific feature in the game, but I know many lore fanatics are quite saddened that they can't be reading more about the enemies they find within the game. So I'm sorry, players, you're just gonna have to use the /wiki option to read up on your enemies. On top of us going to the library, players would be able to venture into this golden land. Here we'd find statues of all 6 gods, and we'd soon realize that the Hall of Heroes was completely wrecked. We may have even bumped into a few crazed believers wandering around the Hall of Heroes. Unfortunately, ArenaNet stated because there was no meaningful gameplay made for the map, it was sadly scrapped. This one's just hard to process. I mean, the map itself is already made. Ugh, it's so sad. Maybe this can be like a raid, a guild hall, a dungeon, a fractal, something ArenaNet. Like, the content's there, just implement it back in the game in some way, shape, or form. There are a lot of limits to where you can go within the map, but it's abundantly clear by some old point of interest names found within the files for an achievement where we can learn that there were zones called Thorn Hollow and Deserted Coast. With mounts, it seems that it's possible to get into Deserted Coast, but according to the Guild Wars 2 wiki, there are no NPCs found within this area. Not only did ArenaNet plan for players to jump onto bouncing mushrooms, but there was also plans for us to utilize massive bouncing mushrooms. Players would have the chance to jump onto these giant mushrooms and get skyrocketed into the air, which is quite awesome considering we'd have gliders to deploy while being up in the sky. With the sky scale and the griffin, I don't think this feature is going to get added in the game at all. If you're not comfortable with how you created your character's face or hair, you'll be bummed to hear that the paper bag helmet skins were once planned for the game for Halloween 2013. You'd be able to show off all different kinds of feelings with the paper bag helmet, from the choices of blush, happy, sad, or angry. Seems that ArenaNet thought that these paper bags didn't fit the atmosphere of Tyria, so you'll have to pick a different helmet to cover your face. It's no surprise that some NPCs in the game have armor that is unattainable for us to wear, such as Kaith's new crystal attire after she bonds with Aurene. The same can be said for Bram's outfit at the end of Dragons. It may be just old Norn town clothing. Seriously, I'm not too sure. Can someone confirm this? Is this old town clothing, or is this just like brand new armor we've never seen in the game? What's even crazier is that Bram's beard option is also not available for players to rock in-game. That's right, Bram has some cool new drip, and he also has a beard option that you cannot wear within the game. This man, he came out looking fresh after End of Dragons. So is there any other cut content that you wish ArenaNet added to the game? There's a giant list on Guild Wars 2's Wikipedia. Feel free to let me know in the comment section down below what kind of content you'd like to see within Guild Wars 2. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, stay hydrated, gamers.